alien invasions, atomic warfare, Jesus freaks, and porn at the Superbowl. I've pulled together some of the most bizarre examples of broadcast television being hacked live, and it's not terrorism or Dr. Evil trying to take over the world. Some of the most famous cases have just been straight up weird. I'll give you a quick rundown of each incident and then play you the original footage. Alright,
Subscribe to this channel for your fix of bizarre true stories.
Are we back? Alright, get comfortable. How would you react if aliens took over the airwaves? Back in 1977, when there were only a few TV channels and people actually took the news seriously, people in South England were shocked to hear a newsreader's voice interrupted by the creepy but also kind of soothing voice of someone claiming to be an alien from another galaxy, softly warning humanity that we needed to change our destructive ways.
Eternal settlement based on one man, one vote. But, he says, there are conditions. These include stopping the execution of all captured prisoners of war, allowing Giroud to stay from negotiations, being arrested. In Australia, Mr. Kerry Packer's cricketers are still clinging by yesterday's High Court decision, which lifts the ban on them playing in Test matches and county.
This is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the silence. We speak to you now to service them as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world and the beings on other worlds around you. This is in order that you may share in the great awakening as the planet passes into the new age of Aquarius. The new age can be a time of great peace and evolution for your race, but only your rulers are made aware of the forces that can overshadow their judgments. Be still now, and for your chance may not come again.
This speech lasted for almost 6 minutes before Vrillon bid farewell and the station flicked back to a Looney Tunes cartoon. For almost half a century, the person behind the hack was unknown until podcaster Tommy Trelawney investigated the case and managed to uncover the man behind the prank as tech whiz Bob Tomowski, aka pirate radio DJ Roger Tate. Bob passed away some years ago before giving up his secret to the world. Would you find this offensive or hilarious? Back in the 80s, a fictional character called Max Headroom was the first version of an AI TV presenter. His sarcastic and witty attitude became famous fast.
In my position, I've got an image to think of, big fella.
Which is probably why a TV hacker decided to wear a Max Headroom mask when they created one of the most talked about public TV hacks to date. Twice in one night on 2 stations in Chicago, USA in 1987, someone hijacked the airwaves. Here's a taste of what people witnessed.
The old ones of your tribe, but it's the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
I've done some dry clothing.
This maniacal legend of a hacker was never caught.
Well, if you're wondering what's happened, so am I. Actually, the computer that we have running our news from time to time took off and went wild. So what we're going to do is start over from the top of the Bears and tell you once again about the 30-10 victory they had over Detroit today out at Soldier Field. We'll show you from the top and show you again.
Trying to find out who's responsible for 2 acts of video piracy.
If Jesus were alive today, how would he reach the porn fans? The adult-only Playboy channel was airing a not very plot-heavy show called American Ecstasy when viewers had their screens hacked by this very religious reminder.
Apartment. We're going to make the best of it, but we're going to be looking for a bigger cozy. I know that she wants...
This went on for several minutes, letting down a mostly male audience, in more ways than one. And after a 3-year investigation, the hack job was pinned on an engineer working at the Christian Broadcasting Network. I wonder why he was so familiar with the Playboy channel.
What were you doing?
Flash forward 20 years to 2007 and Jesus pushers had updated their vocabulary. While a documentary was airing on Australia's Channel 7, the audio was replaced by a creepy voiceover. Thankfully, one viewer managed to catch it happening on his top-of-the-line camcorder.
Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord.
Imagine seeing an atomic bomb explode on live television when you lived in the same area. In 2007, as a weather forecast played on Czech Republic television with visuals of the local countryside, a group of local hackers managed to overlay the footage with imagery of an atomic bomb exploding, giving viewers the impression they were witnessing the beginning of a real-life Armageddon.
Ranní vysílání programu ČT2 Panorama narušila skupina hackerů, když odvysílala záběry fiktivního jaderného výbuchu v Krkonoších. Podle mluvčího České televize Martina Krafla byly záběry velmi nevhodné a mohly vyděsit velké množství lidí. Česká televize podniká kroky, aby se nic takového neopakovalo. Situaci už řeší právníci.
When authorities caught the artistic hack squad, the group claimed it was a project showing how media coverage manipulated people's perception of reality. Fair call, I reckon, but the cops weren't as impressed, and the artistic hackers were all thrown behind bars for 3 years. Imagine watching a sports match with the family when all of a sudden it's a hardcore lesson in sex education. During the 2009 Super Bowl, subscribers of a sports channel in Arizona were treated to half a minute of an X-rated porn film when it took over the game thanks to the skills of a hacker.
Tight, but you know, if he starts bothering you a little bit, just slap his penis through his pants. Just give it a little crack. It's lodged. It's lodged in there. Hold on, let me get it out for you. There you go. Okay. Just shake a little air into it. Okay, you can.
And he went to the perfect guy in the perfect situation.
Probably not what most men were hoping for, but hey, they did score $10 off their bill as compensation from the TV service. The culprit turned out to be a former employee of the company who had a chip on his shoulder and figured he could make things harder for his ex-employer. Or harder for someone anyway. Alright, here's the bonus story of a time a TV station was physically hacked into. which clearly we can call a hijacking. News anchorman Bill Close was doing a live news broadcast with 3 co-hosts when a stranger appeared out of nowhere, hustling into the shot behind Bill with a gun raised towards him. Moments earlier, 28-year-old Joseph Gwynn had forced himself into the TV studio after firing a gun, and once he had 4 hostages in front of the camera, he demanded a statement he had written be read out over the live broadcast. Announcer Bill Close complied, and as he read out the scrawlings of the gunman, it became obvious that this guy had delusional mental issues. The 20-minute ramble included a request for country singer Johnny Cash to notify the Queen to evacuate London. It also predicted that 5 cities would be built to house Anglo men who would all be homosexual, including himself, and warned that Phoenix would be invaded by ants. Unbeknownst to the gunman, the producer at the station had cut off the live feed for fear that something horrendous would be seen on air. And in the end, a photographer was injured when Gwynn struck him on the back of the head with the gun. But otherwise, nobody else was hurt, and the hijacker gave himself up to authorities.
I asked for a congressional investigation and federal protection for my family and these involved. There is no way I can harm anyone with this empty BB gun.
Alright, that's it for my picks of bizarre TV hacks. Please like the video if you made it this far, and if you enjoyed these stories, please subscribe so I can keep telling you plenty more. Stay safe out there, and as always, stay bent.